Our last type of example is going to put all of the different types of factoring patterns that we learned all together. So, as I've been mentioning, the very first step is to check for GCF before you do anything else. So we're looking at two terms here. We have 45 and 80. So I noticed that the 5 can be divided out from both 45 and 80. And that's about it. So in parentheses, I write what's left over. I have a 9x squared minus 16. From here, next you're going to look inside of the parentheses and see if you can factor any other way. So difference of two squares would be when you have two terms. A times C when you have three terms, or factor by grouping when you have four terms. We have two terms, so we're checking to see if they are perfect squares, and we're checking to see if the sign is negative. If all of those are true, you can factor using the difference of two squares, which in this case we can. So we have our pattern, set up our binomials, take the square root of 9x squared, we get 3x, and take the square root of 16 to get 4. So the 3x goes in the first spot, the 4 goes in the second spot. One has a plus, one has a minus, and the 5 that we factored out is just going to kind of come along for the ride and go in front of that those two binomials. And that's it. Again, you can multiply everything together. You would get back to your original problem. Let's take a look at another example. So we have 3x squared plus 30x plus 72. Now we have three terms. Again, your very first step is to check for GCF. So 3, 30, and 72, I believe 3 goes into all of those evenly. So if we divide out a 3, we're left with x squared plus 10x plus 24. So now we have three terms. So we're going to use A times C. So list our numbers. The 3 that we factored out, we kind of forget about that for now. So we're only factoring what's on the inside, not including the 3. So our A is 1, B is 10, and C is 24. So A times C would get us 24. We're coming up with two numbers that multiply to 24 and add up to 10. So 6 and 4 come to mind. So within, I'm going to just create some brackets here so we can bring that 3 down and work inside the parentheses. So we're going to rewrite the trinomial. Instead of using the 10, we're going to use the 6 and the 4. So now we have 4 terms. We factor that by grouping. Okay, bring the 3 along. So the GCF from the first binomial is an x, so that's just I'm going to keep that inside the brackets here. Divide out a 4 from here. And make my two factors. I guess I don't need, once you make your two factors, you don't really need the brackets anymore. The 3 just comes along, and there would be our 3 factors. The 3, the x plus 6, and the x plus 4.